issues that resulted in endless bullying at school. She found salvation through music and now wants to empower the next generation with the self-confidence to end bullying. We welcome singer and songwriter Emma G. Great to meet you, Emma.
You also, Hannah. Thank you so much. Happy Thursday.
Tell me about your childhood. You had a rough go with surgeries and hospital stays. That must have been so tough.
It's interesting because yes, it was, but I think it wasn't, the beauty of having brain surgery, believe it or not, is half of the issues that come with brain surgery you don't remember. But what you do remember is obviously what you're saying is all of the ramifications of being the outsider, being the weirdo, being the endless list of names that I received as a young person from my peers of, being called Frankenstein and freak and weirdo and all that fun stuff that it's hard being a young person. And I think it's probably gotten worse. And so, since the 90s when I grew up, I decided that I wanted to do all I can with my music to, as you can see, been singing a long time, but doing all I can with music to help young people recognize that they too can navigate their way creatively and effectively and healthfully through the power of their voice.
Yeah, you were always a musical kid, but that really helped you connect and fight through and find your own voice. Tell me about finding songwriting specifically.
I don't think I found songwriting so much as songwriting found me. As a young person, as a toddler, I was making up songs from day dot, really. And I think the thing that bemused my mother the most is that it was almost as if I had discovered this whole manifestation idea without any help whatsoever through making up my own music. So I would write about, or I would sing about these realities that weren't mine. I would sing about feeling, in love with my body, or I'd sing about feeling happy and healthy, and sing about all the positive things that weren't necessarily accurate reflections of the reality I was living in. But because I had found this solace to express myself and to kind of create this world for myself, I actually ended up, finding it physically and creating some really beautiful friendships and opportunities for myself because, as we all know, music is so powerful and brings people together in so many beautiful ways that, it's done a lot for my mental health, my emotional health, my social health, my neurological health, for real, that we're still learning about in terms of the songwriting component of music therapy. But I'm walking living proof that it's doing pretty well so far.
For sure. Let's go back to the bullying aspect. You talked about growing up in the 90s. I was there too. Kids were so harsh. We didn't understand the ramifications of, I think, the way that we treated each other. Mm-hmm. What have you learned since then, and what can we do better now as adults and members of our community to put this stuff to a stop?
That's a really good question. I think one of the things that I hear a lot from the kids that I work with, and I've been blessed to be working very up close and personal with a lot of young people within the DC, Maryland, Virginia area here, as well as online across the country. But repeatedly, the messaging I hear from young people, even the bullies themselves, is that a lot of their anxiety and a lot of those big feelings, those big scary feelings that they're trying to navigate, come down to the fact that they don't feel heard. Now, I think a big part of the 90s, the feeling of not being heard so much was possibly because a lot of us grew up in single parent homes, like I did, or, there were struggles that parents had or whatever it was. But now I think that's been exacerbated by obviously the ramifications of the pandemic, the ramifications of social media, and our addiction to, media that is in a connection that is not actually face-to-face, in-person, body language contact. A lot of Gen Zers much prefer texting to phone conversations, much prefer Snap and Instagram Reels as a way of expressing themselves verbally than actually having a conversation, even on the phone. And so I think a big part of the bullying comes down to really the soul of the matter, which is listening to our kids and understanding, trying to understand what it is they're feeling and experiencing on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for talking with us today. You're doing great work.
Thank you.
We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.